Welcome back po. Welcome back to Lira in Law. I am your host, Lira Simon Kabatbat. I am a solicitor at Douglas Simon Solicitors nga. We are a firm in London, in England. I've been qualified now, as just saying, over 3 decades. Yep, you heard it right. Over 3 decades. Actually, I think this year, for sure, it could even be next month, 33 years. So a long, long time. And thank you very much for joining me. Kung meron kayong mga questions, no? I know we're on now, live, of course. Pero kung meron kayong mga questions o gusto niya nga akong batiin, please do. Okay? Because I say this all the time, but my favorite part, I like all of this, no? I like, of course, imparting information out to you. And receiving nga yung questions nyo. But my favorite part always in Lira in Law is the batian section, which we're going to go into later on. So kung gusto nyo akong batiin, o kaya meron kayong mga questions, or you're just tuning in, huwag kayong mahiya. Do say hello. Now, ang topic po natin, as I've said, is immigration changes, at least some of the immigration changes in 2024. The reason I say some is ang dami pong nangyari in 2024. Well, actually 2023 also, especially the latter end of 2023. But certainly 2024 has been chock-a-block with changes in immigration. And 2025 is proving to be, or will prove to be, quite an interesting year also, not least because a lot of the changes that happened in 2024 we will now see the impact in 2025. No? Now, so let's run through the changes. Ang dami nating pag-uusapan. Okay, so una po ito. Partner application. So these are changes that happened in 2024. So partner application minimum income requirement. So the announcement actually was made just really at the cusp of the new year nga. So many clients were calling me in a bit of a panic actually before Christmas to say anong kailangan namin gawin, anong nangyari na, anong mangyayari nga, no? So, if you remember, just to give you a background, ang minimum income requirement for partners, for spouses, fiancés, no, unmarried partners nga, was 18,600 pounds per annum before tax. Yun ang income na kailangan pakita nga ng sponsor. What happened? They changed it. So, ngayon na po, so una nga, they introduced the change and they said, okay, we're going to increase it. Initially, this was the previous government nga, from 18,600 to 29,000 pounds, and then it's going to go up to 34,000 pounds, and it's going to go up further to 38,700 pounds. So you can imagine the panic that it caused an awful lot of people. I mean, it was hindi lang mga tao, no, not just individuals who were concerned about their individual cases, but also the church, no, expressed concern nga, also of course charities and those also that organizations that they deal with children, no, so because they were concerned, ano mangyayari na, no, so is it then, are we looking at permanent separation potentially nga between the sponsor who's living in the United Kingdom and the family who may be living abroad, let's say sa Pilipinas nga, because it was a huge hike, no, from 18,600 potentially 38,700. Now, cooler heads prevailed, and it did go up to 29,000 pounds, and then there was a change, as you know, of government. And at the moment, what's the current situation? Hindi po 38,700. As at the 11th of April 2024, the minimum income requirement is 29,000 pounds. Before tax, it's 29,000 pounds per annum. Right? Yun ang kailangan yung pakita. So sabihin natin, doon kayo sa Pilipinas, gusto kayong kunin ng asawa nyo nga dito siya. Anong kailangan yung pakitang income? Ang income at the moment is 29,000 pounds. Now, kung meron kayong mga bata, the 29,000 pounds, unlike the previous minimum income requirement of 18,600 pounds, it does not go up. So hindi nila dadagdagan. 29,000 pounds flat. Yun. Okay? So, yun ang kailangan yung pakita. Pero sabihin natin, as with a lot of my clients, hindi nga kasya yung income nila. It's not 29,000 pounds, no? Sabihin natin, ang income mo, ang income nyo is 20,000 pounds. So you fall short by 9,000 pounds. Can you use savings to pad it up to satisfy the minimum income requirement? The answer is yes, you can. No? Now, I've done the calculation and I'll give you also the formula. So ito po. The formula in calculating the savings that you need, okay? Kung kapos nga kayo, kung 20,000 ang income mo, pero kailangan nyo pakita 29,000 pounds is this. So, the difference between the 20,000 na income mo and of course the minimum income requirement of 29,000 is clearly 9,000 pounds. Okay? Yung 9,000 pounds na yun, the formula is, so the difference between the minimum income requirement and yung income nga. So, kung 20,000 ka, 9,000 pounds. So, 9,000 pounds, you multiply that by 2.5, okay? And then you add an additional 16,000 pounds. So, for example nga, on that basis, 29,000 ang kailangan, 20,000 income mo, ano bang kapos? Ang kailangan, ano bang savings na kailangan ipakita? The amount with that calculation is 38,500 pounds. So, not a small amount. Okay? But that's what you need to show. Kung 20,000 nga ang income, you need savings and they must be easily liquid, so cash savings basically, ideally really. So nasa bangko o ISA, ganoon, they will not take into account equity in a house, for example. It doesn't matter na you have £1 million equity in your home, that's not taken into account because it's not easily liquidated. So you own. So 38,500 pounds kung yun na nga kung 20,000 ang income. So that's one thing. So that was certainly that's probably the one that caused an awful lot of panic. The minimum income requirement changed. Now, ano pang nangyari? Also changed was the skilled worker visa threshold requirement. No, tinaasan nila. What else is new? Okay. So 2004 also saw an increase to salary thresholds for some skilled worker visa. Well, actually, most. No, the minimum income requirement the minimum income dati was 26,200 pounds. Tinaasan nila to 38,700 pounds. So it's a massive hike again. Fortunately, as with as before, some lower income threshold applies to some workers that do certain jobs, no? Jobs, the skill sets that the government says kailangan nila dito. And they include, for example, care workers. Okay? So care workers, for example, ang income nila, ang minimum income na kailangan nilang pakita in order to be able to successfully apply for a visa to enter the United Kingdom after getting a certificate of sponsorship. Sponsorship is 23,200. Okay? So mas mababa nga. So at least it's not 38,700 pounds. So that's another change in 2024. Now, even though carers, sabihin natin we're quite fortunate in that they were exempt to the general from the general increase of income to 38,700, and sa kanila 23,200. The downside, again in 2024, is they stopped carers from being able to bring their family into the United Kingdom. I'm talking about new applicants. Okay, so those people who are entering, who have been granted leave after the 11th of March 2024. Okay, so if you're coming in now, kung magpapasok nga lang kayo application, nakakuha nga kayong visa ngayon nga lang, no? After the 11th of March 2024, you no longer can apply for your family, that is children under the age of 18, and also yung asawa nyo, sabihin natin, o partner nyo to join you in the United Kingdom, unfortunately. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that that's it forevermore. Now, I mean, of course, as a carer, you can still, after 5 years, apply for indefinite leave to remain. And by then, when you have settlement status in the United Kingdom, then you can see about bringing them in the UK. But that's a small consolation, really, because of course 5 years is a long time, and I know it's causing an awful lot of people, some of my clients, concerns. I don't. I have. I have concerns on so many levels. On a personal level, it must be very difficult. I can't imagine, the difficulty that you have having to choose to be away now from your family, but also from a social and, if you like, legal level. I do think I would be concerned whether that puts off people, carers now, and he'll have that special skill set from coming into the UK. We'll see. But at the moment, you cannot show that you are, if you can't bring in your family in the United Kingdom if you have this type of visa, and you have a visa you were granted a visa after the 11th of March 2024. Sticking with the issue of carers, employers, care homes, for example, now need to be registered with what's called the CQC, the Care Quality Commission, in order to be able to get sponsorship license in the UK, okay? And to be able to sponsor people also. So kung naghahanap nga kayo ng trabaho in the adult in the health and adult social care, make sure na yung employer nyo or prospective employer is registered with the Care Quality Commission, because otherwise they cannot sponsor you in to come into the United Kingdom. Now, kung nandito na kayo, don't panic. Kahit wala nga silang, wala nga sila sa CQC, if they're not registered, because you can still continue to work. They can still continue quite properly to employ you, even though they're not registered. Kung nandito na nga kayo. So, if you entered the UK, obviously before the change nga. So, kung ngayon nga lang yung papasok, then it would be an issue. So be careful, they must be registered. Now, additionally, as usual pera, home office fees. Home office fees have gone up. Do they ever go down though, right? Anyway, so I think they're on a very, very few occasions they've gone down, but not by very much, but certainly they have not gone down for an awful lot of fees. So tingnan nga natin. So hike in fees. I mean, I'm talking about real hike in fees. So I'll post after our broadcast the link to the Home Office visa fees. Okay, that's a comprehensive list. Nandun lahat kung magkano kailangan yung ibayad. So, but it's quite long. So that's why I'm not going through each and every single one. Now, what are popular fee changes are as follows. So, for example, spouse visa. Okay, it went up in 2024 by 20%. From £1,538 to a whopping £1,846. Massive amount, But it gets worse. Indefinite leave to remain also went up by 20% from £2,404 to £2,885. So kung mag-indefinite na kayo, settlement status na nga kayo, kailangan yung bayad £2,885. No IHS because it's indefinite. I'll talk about IHS in a moment. So naturalization. So kung magiging British na kayo, this is very popular at the moment, especially because people are making applications for naturalization rather than getting e-visas, or they're getting e-visas but applying also for naturalization. And I cannot emphasize enough, kung entitled na kayo magpasok ng naturalization, do so. Okay, because my prediction for 2025 is there will be changes to the naturalization legal requirements, and it will be harder. You probably been reading also in the paper some EU countries, Sweden has made some pretty drastic changes to their naturalization process. I think we will follow. So if you're if you can apply for naturalization, if you're entitled now to apply for naturalization because you've been in the United Kingdom a minimum of 5 years, the last 12 months must be indefinite leave to remain, generally, no, then please make the application. But anyway, if you're doing it now, it's gone up again by 20% from 1,250 the home office fee to 1,500 pounds. Now, on top of that, and this is the massive increase, immigration health surcharge, otherwise known fondly as IHS. Okay. Now, although strictly speaking, hindi nga yung home office fee, but of course, it is something you need to pay when you have to pay it when you make an application nga, unless you are exempt. No? But most people are not exempt. So it went up by, wait for this, 66%. No? From £624 per year to £1,035 per applicant per year of leave. So, let's I mean, that doesn't apply to everyone, but so for example, children pay less. But let's say you're making an application for a spouse visa. So you're asking for 2.5 years visa. Nga. How do you calculate it? That now costs, so before, on 2.5 years, calculated at 624 dati, okay? That was 1,560 on top of the home office fee na kailangan ibayad. No? Ngayon, it's now not 1,560 anymore, but rather £2,587.50p. Huge increase. Okay? So it's certainly not showing, home office fees are not showing generally a decrease, but increase, not just increase a bit, but considerable increase. I say again, after our broadcast nga, I will post the link to the home office fees, the current home office fees nga. You just need to click on the link nga, makikita nyo, and hopefully nandun nga yung kailangan ibayad. It lists things. It lists making applications not from abroad or making application in the United Kingdom, spouse applications, visit visa. So it should be all there. Okay. Now, I've saved it, I suppose, best for last. No, it's an administrative change, and this is not going to be a surprise to, I'm sure, any of you. 2024 also saw the deadline of the 31st of December 2024 for biometric residence permits. Okay? BRP. If you hear the phrase BRC, which biometric residence cards, they relate really there. That's how you call, that's what you call nga EU nationals and also EU national families, family members nga. Yun ang card nila, ang tawag sa card nila BRCs, biometric residence cards. But for most people, nandito nga kayo, those with indefinite leave to remain, those with limited leave to remain, until the 31st of December 2024, you could use this card, the BRP card, and I'm sure you've seen them, pero para bang credit card ang itsura na ng picture nyo, nandun nga yung detalye nyo, pangalan nyo, birthday nyo nga, no? And most importantly, nandun nga yung visa nyo. Okay? It may say limited leave to remain. Now, in the last at least 12 months nga, it mainly showed deadline, expiry date ng card ng BRP is 31st of December 2024. Una po, hindi naman ibig sabihin nung natapos ang visa nyo, especially kung indefinite na nga kayo. So sabihin natin, indefinite na nga kayo dito sa UK. Of course, hindi matatapos yung visa nyo, pero yung card ang mapapasok. A bit like passports, no? Just because you have Filipino passport and okay, 10 years na nga. In 10 years time, papaso na yung passport, but hindi naman ibig sabihin hindi na kayo Pinoy, no? So much the same. Yeah? So so the card does not mean, the expiry of the card does not mean the expiry of your visa. But what do you do? But it is the thing that you use to show your status in the UK. Kung ano man status nyo, estudyante kayo, spouse visa kayo, limited leave to remain, or exceptional circumstances, or indefinite, kahit nga indefinite kayo. So if you're not British, usually you would have a card. Yun ang kailangan yung pakita. Yun ang gusto makita nga ng airport, ng airline, gusto makita ng trabaho, for example, if you're looking, or indeed even landlord, and then they check also online. So, importante nga yung BRP. And then they said, okay, we're going to get rid of BRPs. And in fairness, people have had a lot of notice. This was introduced, I think some two years back now, no? So there's been ample notice that it will happen. And it did happen, right? So, and there's been a lot of, you can see it on YouTube. There've been, the Home Office have also noted how do you do it, how do you apply, how do you now, when you no longer can use your BRP, anong kailangan nyo pakita. Now, it was replaced in 2024, 31st of December 2024, actually, by e-visas. But you could apply for an e-visa. E-visa is just short for electronic visa. So computerized, computer-generated visa. So it was replaced by e-visas nga, and the deadline on the card was 31st of December 2024. Now, why it was the 31st of December 2024? I've always wondered, because why would you choose the 31st of December? No? On any level. That's the busiest time for travel. Also, it's holiday. So kung may problema, if you have may abogado nga kayo, how do you call them? Even I was off on the 31st of December. So it was bizarre that it actually they made it to expire on the 31st of December. Anyway, there was a change in government, as I say, as you all know. And there was an announcement, in fact, before the 31st of December. And sabi nila, okay, we're going to extend the usage of the card. Doesn't mean nabibigyan kayong panbago, but you can still use your card even after the 31st of December 2024. And the extension was to the 31st of March 2024. So you still can use it for another 2 months. Now, sabi nila, okay, kahit paso na nga yun, nasa labas kayo, papasok kayo, babalik kayo nga dito, the airline, for example, or yung barko, or the trains can still use it. But is it a good idea to leave it until then? Hindi po. Ang payo ko sa inyo, even though it's been extended, the usage of the BRP to the 31st of March, gawin nyo na. Okay? Not least because it just seems hassle. No? Now, kung meron nga kayong e-visa, that's really what they want to see. And hindi nga lang kung lalabas kayo. Yung kailangan yung ibigay nga, you need to give a share code, prospective landlords, prospective employers, for example nga, and generally for you, to be able to show meron kayong status. Sabihin natin, gusto nyo want to open an account, nasa bangko nga kayo. They want to see, give them a share code nga. So, kahit nga in-extend nga nila, and frankly, it's only the 31st of March. Ano na tayo? We're mid-January na nga. Don't delay. Nevertheless, get your e-visa sorted out. Bear in mind, okay, tip ko po ito, 31st of December 2024, as I say, BRP ends, and then you get you replace it now with an e-visa, okay? But to get the e-visa, kung wala kayong BRP dati, marami akong kalayante, ang visa nga nila nakatatak lang sa passport, lumang-luma na yung passport, pag nagbibiyahe sila, magkakadikit yung passports nila, and so until recently, that was okay. When you apply nga for an e-visa, kung yun, so wala kayong BRP nga, you never applied for BRP, then you need another process. It's called NTL, no time limit. You do need to do that before you can then get your e-visa. Kailangan po yun. So kung meron kayong balak magbiyahe, especially, there's the additional process. An additional process for the Home Office always results to some delay, of course, because there's another process to go through. So, importante po, gawin nyo na nga yun, especially if you're looking to travel, for Valentine's. Oh, gosh. Tapos nga lang ng Christmas, tapos New Year, And the next thing is Valentine's. Sabihin natin, meron kayong gusto nyo pumunta sa, Paris, to have a nice long weekend. Kung yun ang balak nyo, do it now. Okay? Especially kung kailangan yung NTL. Yeah? It's so important that you do that. NTL causes delay because it's another process nga. Then you need to make an application for an e-visa. But if you can, if you have not yet applied for an e-visa, for goodness sake, what are you waiting for? Gawin nyo. Okay? Yun ang payo ko. And also bear in mind whether it would be actually practical to even apply for naturalization, which is of course the British passport, if you think that that is something that you want nga going forward. And a lot of my clients have, and sabi ko nga sa mga kliyente ko, look, it gives you an option. Hindi naman ibig sabihin hindi na kayo Pinoy. And you can, of course, now we have the possibility of becoming dual nga, no? So you don't even lose your citizenship, no, your Filipino citizenship. So so that means that you will have the same rights as you have now, even though you become British nga. So you should consider it. Now, bear in mind also, 65 is the deadline nga for the, deadline is exemption really, for the life in the UK English language. So, ibig sabihin po, kung over 65 plus na kayo, hindi nyo kailangan test. That's what puts a lot of people off. And so, if that is what's putting you off, do not be put off. Because if you're 65 plus na, then you can make an application actually for naturalization and then get your British passport without having to do the test. No, so it's not. It's kind of as I say, it's kind of a win-win really. No, dahil Brito nga kayo, pwede kang tumira nga dito. Kung gusto niyo umuwi sa atin, gusto niyo bumili ng mga lupa sa atin, you're still Filipino.